Look around you. You feel solid. The ground feels real. But strip away the familiar, and you are essentially an observer navigating a biological machine through a world we barely comprehend. We have built monuments to our own intellectual mastery, wrapping ourselves in the comfort of modern breakthroughs. We have split the atom and mapped the human genome, creating a map of existence that feels nearly complete. But that comfort is fragile. Beyond the boundaries of our current textbooks, our foundational physics fails to account for the behavior of the vast majority of the universe. To see the scale of this ignorance, we have to look closer at the gaps. We'll begin at the cosmic scale, push down to the anomalies right here on Earth, and finally zoom all the way in to the secret within the human mind. Because as we refine our measurements, we discover an underlying reality that refuses to align with our established equations. At the largest scales, we can only account for about 5% of the cosmos. Dark matter and dark energy make up the rest. These aren't substances we have identified, they are mathematical labels for the gaps in our knowledge. This chart shows the rotation curve of a typical galaxy. Newton's law suggests that stars at the outer edges should orbit slower as they move away from the center. That's the declining predicted curve. Instead, the observed speeds remain high, suggesting an invisible gravitational glue is holding the galaxy together. Our existence itself is a statistical anomaly. The early universe produced equal amounts of matter and antimatter, which should have annihilated each other completely upon contact, leaving behind an empty void. Yet for every billion pairs of matter and antimatter that destroyed each other, one single matter particle survived. That tiny, unexplained excess formed every star, planet, and living body we see today. This instability extends to modern observations. We regularly detect millisecond-long flashes called fast radio bursts from deep space. In less than a heartbeat, some release more energy than our sun generates in days. Then there is the 1977 WOW signal. Detected by the Big Ear radio telescope, it lasted 72 seconds and bore the characteristics you would expect from an intentional broadcast. Locating a signal like this is like finding a specific grain of sand in a desert. Most of the telescope's data records the low-level background noise that constantly tumbles through space. But the researchers spotted this sequence, 6EQUJ5. That code represents a massive spike in radio intensity on a frequency naturally emitted by hydrogen. He was so surprised, he scribbled "wow" directly onto the paper. The event has never been confirmed by a second detection. While some suggest a passing hydrogen cloud might be the source, current physics cannot explain a natural cloud producing a glow of that intensity. On a macro scale, we see a universe that is expanding at an accelerated rate, propelled by forces and signals we can neither see nor replicate. These anomalies aren't confined to deep space. Even here on Earth, we find phenomena that challenge our standard models of physics, beginning with ball lightning. Thousands of observers have reported glowing spheres that drift through storms. They float against the wind and have been seen passing through a solid glass window without shattering it, before vanishing without a trace. Biology holds its own secrets. The European eel undergoes a total physical transformation, turning silver and enlarging its eyes, to begin a thousands of miles journey to a single spot in the ocean. They travel to the Sargasso Sea to breed, but no human has ever witnessed their mating or egg-laying in the wild. Their final journey remains a mystery, despite centuries of study. Even our own written records can be impenetrable. The 15th century Voynich manuscript is written in an alphabet that follows the statistical patterns of a language, yet it remains completely unread. The book is filled with impossible illustrations. It combines roots and flowers from different plant species and contains these complex circular celestial charts, yet we cannot translate a single sentence. These earthly mysteries suggest we are still navigating our own world with an incomplete map, unable to decode its oldest records or its basic life cycles. The final zoom-in leads us to the most intimate secret of all, the origin of your own subjective experience. In purely physical terms, Your brain is a meat computer. It is 3 pounds of tissue processing electrical signals converted from light and sound waves. This raises a fundamental question. Why does that processing feel like anything? Why do we have an inner world of experience, rather than just being machines executing biological code in the dark? Scientists can map which brain regions respond to external stimuli, but they cannot explain why those responses result in the feeling of being you. This is known as the hard problem of consciousness. Some leading philosophers suggest we may be cognitively closed to the answer, that the human mind is as unequipped to understand its own origin as a dog is to understand calculus. We have mapped the distant mechanics of the stars and the microscopic synapses of the brain. Yet the existence of the universe and the subjective reality observing it remains a profound secret.